Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Dragon Ball Super Dragon Stars Cell Final Form. Has he ever been called that? I always thought it was just called Perfect Cell. Honestly, I've never heard him call it Final Form. That's for Frieza, isn't it? Maybe they call him that now, I don't know. Anyway guys, this is one of those cheaper figures. It's a $20 to $25 price point, not unlike a Marvel Legends in the general realm. And typically these figures have not been good enough to replace their SH Figuarts counterparts. Frieza was really good. A few of them have been really solid. This one, I think, might be the first to actually dethrone a Figuarts for at least one particular reason. So let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. And this guy stands just about to the top of his head, about 17.5 centimeters, to the top of his thingy, about 19.5, which makes him closer to 6 3/4, and then 7 5/8, right around there. So this is the thing about this guy. Is he going to be the same level of finish as a Figuarts? Definitely not. He's not going to be anywhere near as nice a figure, but aesthetically speaking, this guy looks, relatively speaking, perfect. The other one looks so far off from the actual source material that this one, in comparison, is that good. It looks great. And let's compare the size. Let's just do that. I haven't done this yet specifically, so let's see. So he's definitely girthier and taller and clearly far more accurate. So let's see how that scales with Goku. It should be just about perfect because that cell is the same size as Goku pretty much. And now this cell is bigger. And I'll drop the camera so you have a better perspective. There you go. I don't know for sure because obviously in Dragon Ball the scales change quite frequently, but I'm pretty sure this is a whole lot closer than the Figuarts. So let's go ahead and swap them out real quick again so you can see the difference in size. And now don't get me wrong, you guys saw my review for these Figuarts cell figures. They're good figures, but they're just not that accurate. He's very skinny and he's not that tall, and his face is weird. Whereas on this new cell, he's not very skinny, he is quite tall, and his face is not weird. So those are all good things for the new one. Okay, enough dead space. Let's look at this guy. How is it, aesthetically speaking, besides being infinitely more accurate? It's really good. It's really good. The face in particular is just, I mean, that's what I want him to look like. And he does, so that's very nice. Obviously we have a decent paint job. It's not perfect, but his little freckles, those things on his head in particular, are done really well. The black line work where it separates from green to black is done really well. Again, the face is good. The black line work around on the chest is really clean. The freckles down here are not as well done. You can see up here they're quite opaque, whereas down here they're a little more transparent, a little lighter green. They're still pretty good. They're not as good, to be clear. They're not as good, but certainly good enough. They are okay. Then we do have the molded green and then the molded purple. That works very well. We have the molded yellow for the feet. All in all, this guy's really well done. His little shell thingies are not quite the same finish as the rest of his back, but it's not bad. We'll talk about articulation in a minute. The white, by the way, the white that's painted, it's really nice. It's very clean. This is on par with your average Figuarts figure. Some of them have not great paint jobs. Some of them have really good paint jobs. On average, this one is about equal. They really did a good job on this guy, especially given the fact that it's a $20 price point, maybe $25 depending on where you get it. So aesthetically speaking, this guy gets a 9 out of 10. It is damn good. A little bit of room for improvement, but it is impressive. All right, time for accessories. We only have some alternate hands. We have 2 fist hands and 2 gripping hands. That's it. That's not a lot. 5 out of 10. That's just enough to consider it accessories. I mean, maybe an alternate head would have been cool. Like, that would have been really good. Or maybe some wings that were in a different pose. Since the articulation is not good, we'll get to that. You know, we had some opportunity there for some accessories and we didn't get them. So that's a bummer. Now, as far as the articulation goes, it's not the best. This is definitely less good than the Figuarts figure. It's not supposed to be in competition, by the way. I want to point that out. Figuarts figure, let's say by today's standards, is at least a $50 figure. This one's at most a $25 figure. So they're not really in competition. But this one is because it's that good. Okay, so you basically just get a little rotation. It's not particularly helpful. That's it. You're gonna be able to rotate. You can look up and down just a tiny bit. The neck looks like it should be articulated, but it won't move, so very minimal articulation. Shoulders are connected on a ball peg, so this is essentially the same as your standard Figuarts. So you can move the arm around like that, and then as you saw, you can raise the arm up on the ball hinge, and it goes back down, so you can bump his shoulders up to give him that really broad, angry, mean, bad guy look, like that. Or you can put him down if you want to have him in more of a slouchy pose. So you have some options there. It doesn't really work as a butterfly at all, but you have good range on the hinge. You do get a bicep swivel, which works pretty well. It does bump into the sculpt, but it still functions, so that's good. Double jointed elbows work better than 90, so that's fine. And then the wrist is on a ball hinge, so hey, that's all right. Now the torso feels like it's maybe 2 ball pegs, or maybe there's like a double ball peg with a floating piece. I can't quite tell, but either way, you get just a little bit of play, not much of anything. It just kind of wiggles around and rotates, so it's very minimal. For the hips, we have hinged ball pegs, so they do drop down a very little bit. They don't go out to the side very far. It'll be enough, of course, but not very far. And then going forward, they don't work very well, because as you can see, it kicks them out to the side at a pretty severe angle. It's not terrible, but it is definitely basic. There is a thigh swivel in there a little bit too. Double jointed knees, very limited by the sculpt, just about 90 degrees. They could have easily just cut away a little bit here and sacrificed the sculpt a little more, but they didn't, so it's very limited. And then for the ankles, we have a ball hinge. I meant for that to pop off. I didn't mean for it to go flying across the room. Hang on a second. Okay, so for the ankle, we do have a ball hinge. It'll rotate around, and then obviously the foot is on a ball, so it can move around. It's a little tricky to get it to rotate around for an ankle rocker, but you can do it. So his ankles are actually better than most Figuarts ankles, despite the rest of his articulation, most of it being relatively limited. So for the price point, this guy's articulation is not especially good, but it's not bad, so I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. It would have gotten a higher score, but these guys right here drive me nuts. They're on a little hinge, so they move a little bit, and that's fine, except if you try to do anything with them, they just pop right off. They don't break, so that's a good thing, but there's no need for this. They could have just made it a ball peg. That way you could at least rotate them a little bit. It would have had the same range this way, and then you could at least rotate them, maybe flare them out to the side some, but this little janky busted hinge, not literally, but practically, is just not good. It's a pain in the ass. They'd like to pop off. If you even like, I've had them pop off as I'm holding the figure, just trying to manipulate the things. They pop off very easily, so be aware of that. It's not the best in terms of articulation. But time for the final verdict on this guy. Is it worth picking up? 100% yes. If you're collecting Dragon Ball figures, this is probably the best representation of a character from the Dragon Stars line. It is hyper accurate, at least as far as my memory is concerned, and it looks really good on its own rights, and it is definitely more aesthetically pleasing than the Figuarts version. So, final verdict score-wise, I'm going to give this guy, given the price point, an 8 out of 10. I was going to say 8.5, but its accessories suck and some of the articulation sucks. So 8 out of 10, really, really strong release. Definitely room for improvement, but definitely one you should pick up. For sure, 100%. And there you have it. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up. And if you did not enjoy this video, you can give it a thumbs down. And if you would like to subscribe, I would recommend it, because I do have new videos out just about every single day, and thousands of other reviews and other videos on the channel just waiting for your enjoyment. So make sure you come back for that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.